Welcome to the Explainer. So, when we ask an algorithm to be fair, what are we actually asking it to do? It turns out, fairness isn't just one single thing. It's this whole multiverse of competing ideas. And today, we're going to dive right in.
You know, at the heart of all this tech we're building is a really simple human question. Are we still being decent? It's so easy to lose sight of that when we're just focused on optimization. So we're going to look at a pretty cool experiment that tried to build that idea of decency right into the code itself.
Okay, first up, let's meet JusticeBot. The best way to think about it is as a polite tattletale. Its entire job is to just stand at the digital front door of a mortgage approval system and keep track of who gets in and who gets turned away.
Now, its purpose wasn't to go in and fix anything, not at all. It was just there to hold up a mirror and ask a simple question. Is access to this system genuinely fair for everybody? JusticeBot was built to find out.
So, what happened when it crunched a full year's worth of real-world mortgage data? Well, it sounded a quiet kind of alarm, almost like a low judgmental beep that basically said, you might want to take a look at this.
This is the number JusticeBot flagged, a disparate impact ratio of 0.74 for Black applicants. So in fairness audits, there's this guideline called the 80% rule, and anything below 0.8 is considered a red flag. It's a signal that access just isn't being granted equally.
The takeaway was pretty straightforward. The system essentially had a major diversity problem right at the front door. And that, of course, raised an even bigger question. If the entrance itself is unfair, what's happening to the people who actually make it inside?
And that brings us to our second character, Beneficent Spot. You can think of this one as the empath with the calculator. Its job isn't to watch the door, but to go inside the room and see how people are actually being treated once they're approved. And this is where things get really complicated, because while JusticeBot found that access at the door was uneven, Beneficent Spot found that for those who did get approved, the loan pricing inside the room was pretty much the same for everyone.
So suddenly you have this weird paradox. The room looks fairer than the door. The system is, by the book, procedurally fair on the inside, but it's deeply biased at the entrance. It's kind of like a company that has perfect pay equity, but its hiring process is a complete mess.
Okay, so with two conflicting truths on the table, we needed a tiebreaker. And that's where our third and final character comes in, Belmont Bot. Now, this one is different. It's the system thinker. It doesn't just compute, it contemplates.
Belmont Bot's job was to take the findings from the other two bots and synthesize them. It used these core ethical principles, justice, beneficence, and respect, to look past the raw numbers and find the real meaning, the real significance of what was going on.
See, we didn't ask it to predict or classify people. We asked it to interpret. What does fairness actually feel like for the people being affected by all this? Belmont Bot was designed for reflection, not just for calculation.
And its final verdict? Well, it wasn't really about the individual models at all. It was more of a moral reckoning with the entire system that had trained them in the first place. And here's the absolute core of it. Belmont Bot concluded that the models weren't inherently unfair. The history they learned from was. The bias isn't in the math. It's literally embedded in the memory of the market, and that reflects decades of societal inequity.
This brings us to a super critical distinction. The system, technically, passes the test for procedural fairness. It's treating people equally in the moment, according to its own rules. But it fails the test for substantive equity. It's not creating genuinely just outcomes because its data just remembers way too much of our biased past.
In the end, what we learn from all these bots is that an audit isn't just about measuring accuracy or hitting some target metric. It's really about holding up a mirror to our own systems and asking ourselves if we're actually okay with the reflection that's staring back.
Look, audits like this can't magically fix history, but they can help us stop repeating it, which leaves all of us with a final, really vital question to think about. What does it mean to teach our machines to remember all the hard lessons about fairness that we as a society are still struggling to learn?